You're listening to Kaye Dee and the Motor Mouth Show on 103.1 FM, WEOM, Thomasville, North Carolina.
You're listening to Thomasville, North Carolina's best gospel station, WEOM 103.1 FM. Hi, everybody. This is Kaye Dee with the Kaye Dee and Motor Mouth Show.
And this is Motor Mouth. How everybody doing today?
Hope everybody's wonderful, because we got a lot to talk about, Motor Mouth, you know?
Yes, there have been a lot of things going on.
We always say that, but there's always a lot going on.
Yeah, this world is moving. You know, it's a live world.
That's right.
And we got a lot of live people out there doing live things, you know?
Live is an understatement, Motor Mouth. Before we get real deep with everything, how about in Metro Atlanta? I know we're focusing on North Carolina, pretty much international audience as well, but I'm trying to figure out what is going on in Atlanta. Have you noticed in the headline news, every single headline is about children being murdered? Have you noticed that?
A little bit. Well, I guess it's not.
It seems to be more than the norm. Just weird.
Well, it's always happening. You know, I just used to every day, you know, figuring out who got killed on what side of town or whatsoever, you know, because it's always in the headline news. I mean, it just don't have no vacation.
I mean, it never stops, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, it's just like I was in a store, for instance, this week, just minding my business, and a couple of ladies were talking about it. I went in another store, same thing. And they're right. It just seems to be a little bit higher than it normally does. You know, like we had this situation, I'm not going to get that deep with it, but the situation where a father killed a 2-year-old child.
Right.
And he claimed that he took a nap or something and woke up and the baby was dead, and he didn't have a clue as to what happened. But yet, you know, they're doing the autopsy of the child now. The child has chest concussions or bruises or whatever they want to call it on his legs, his thighs, his head. It's just bizarre. But there's a couple of things that happened along the same line this week in Atlanta with maybe 3 toddlers to come to mind. It's just kind of unusual. That's all I'm thinking. But anyway, let's move on. Maybe it'll ease up a little bit. But that also brings in line what we're going to talk about a little bit later about the teenager in Jacksonville, Florida.
Right. Okay.
They got killed, you know, which brings up.
Yeah, he was from Atlanta.
Yeah, his family's from Marietta, Georgia, which is a suburb of Atlanta. And we're going to get a little deep with that also because people comparing that to the Trayvon Martin situation. But how about before we break that down, we do a little bit of pop news. You know, I like entertainment, celebrity, pop news stuff, Motor Mouth.
Okay.
Thing. And there's so much going on in the pop world right now. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's off the chain. First of all, I was looking at the Halle Berry incident. I'm not gonna get that deep with, but oh my goodness, I'm like, will these people grow up? I mean, it got really stupid, Motor Mouth. Stupid. Are you familiar with Halle Berry and Oliver Martinez and Gabrielle Aubrey and oh my goodness. Long story short, they have a 4.5-year-old daughter, Halle Berry and her ex, and they've been fighting over custody off and on for a while. She even wanted to leave the United States and move to Paris with Oliver Martinez, which is this fellow that she's going to marry. In a nice summary, Martinez and Aubrey got into a fight over Thanksgiving holiday weekend. Well, I think it was Thanksgiving Day.
Right.
He was coming to pick up his daughter. Martinez apparently said something to him. I mean, I don't know what really happened. They ended up in this knockdown, drag-out brawl, to the point where, you know, ambulance was called at the hospital, black eyes, broken ribs, concussion, just craziness going on. But long story short, apparently they kind of came to some kind of mature grown folks, as I like to call it, settlement yesterday.
Okay.
And I'm going, thank God, because can you imagine? I mean, can you imagine? Because reality is, there's a 4.5-year-old all in the middle of this, and regardless of who this guy is going to marry, I look at it from a female point of view. It's good that this man wants to protect her. It's good that he's interested in being in this child's life, but you can't beat that girl's daddy up like that and think that he's going to embrace you as being a part of her life, you know, if you should marry her mother. That's just not a good thing.
Exactly.
That ain't going to work out too good. So I hope they can get that straight and, you know, keep it peaceable and act like grown people and think about the child, you know. But anyway, that's my opinion about the Halle Berry situation. Now, moving on from Halle Berry, we have another show that I will confess I look at. It's crazy. It's straight up entertainment, but I like it. Maybe I have issues, but I like 2.5 Men. I liked it better when Charlie Sheen was on it, but you know, they moved on, things happened, and they fell out, and Charlie's no longer on the show. So, you know, the little guy that plays Jake, well, he's not small, little guy anymore. He's a big guy now.
Right, exactly.
I like Jake. I like him. Maybe because I've been looking at this show ever since he's on there with this little, when he was a little toddler with the little chubby cheeks and everything.
Exactly.
But anyway, Jake is growing up. I think he's like maybe, 18 or 19?
18, 19 or somewhere
like
around
that.
there, yeah.
But it was interesting to me. He was all in the headline news because this week he got hooked up with this organization. What is the name of it? It's a Christian organization. I can't think of the name of it. But long story short, they interviewed Jake. Well, his name is Angus T. Jones. That's his real name. Jake is his stage name.
Right.
But they interviewed him. And, like I said, they're gospel and Christian oriented. And they even put the video on YouTube after the interview. And Angus T. Jones, in my world, he's always going to be Jake, said a few things that ruffled the producers of the 2.5 Men show.
Yeah, a meltdown, as they say.
Yeah, he said he had a meltdown because he said he pretty much said that
the show was crap.
It's crap. No, his term was filth.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my goodness. Now it may be filth, but I know he got paid good money to be on that filth. I didn't realize he was making that much. I should have assumed it, but he's getting like between $300,000 to $350,000 per episode per show. It's a nice little piece of money. Well, it just kind of reminded me of Charlie Sheen when he had his so-called meltdown. He eventually left the show, but, that was, the thing with Angus T. Jones and what's going on with them.
Charlie done offer him to come over to the show that he's producing.
Yeah.
So, like, if he have any problems or whatsoever, as he said, his nephew's welcome over on his network.
Yeah, his play nephew.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I'm not going to get deep with it, but I could see where he's probably just at the point where he's coming of age and he's deciding what's morally in his world proper. Because 2.5 show, but it's meant to be stupid entertainment, but it has a sexual undertone and craziness and
male chauvinism or however
male chauvinism and using women and all. But to me, that's why I take it as straight up comedy. I don't take it as anything else. But I'm sure maybe he'll get situated and end up someplace where it's going to work for him also. Let's see, moving on to other pop news. Before we even get into Kevin Clash, he's the guy the Elmo puppeteer. I'm like, my goodness.
Yeah.
How about we back up for a minute and just focus on the lottery? Because first of all, I'm mad because somebody got my money.
Yeah.
Somebody got my lottery money, okay? But the lottery winner was this couple, and was it Minnesota? Not Minnesota. Was it Arkansas?
Yeah, one was in Arkansas, and I forget where the other ones that came out and claimed their money already.
Yeah, they came and claimed theirs.
Yeah.
They seem like a nice family, but still, that was my money. That's a lot of money. But it's interesting because it brings up in headline news also something else that's going on lottery related. Now, I don't know if you heard about this, Mona Mouth, because it's in Florida again. I don't know what it is about Florida. It's always something interesting going on in Florida. But there's a court case in Florida right now where there's a lady, and she actually hooked up, there's no other way of putting it, with this guy named Shakespeare. Now, Shakespeare won the lottery. I think it was like $15.5 million.
Okay.
And what happened when she hooked up with this guy, befriended him, I'm sure everybody befriended him. The guy was even on this show a while back saying that ever since he won the lottery, his life has been miserable because everybody wanted him just because of his money. Well, yeah.
Exactly.
But long story short, how can I summarize what happened? She killed the man. She befriended him, took his money, all she could, killed him, buried this man in the backyard, under some concrete. I don't know how they found out what happened, but she's actually in Florida. It's one of the biggest cases going on in Florida right now because it was all because of the guy hitting the lottery.
Oh, okay.
So maybe the lottery ain't that. I'm sure there's pluses and minuses, but it's going to be an interesting court case. And she's trying to claim in a roundabout way, she's trying to act like she's mentally crazy.
I guess she is. She ain't got to do too much acting, but the idea, can she get off of it?
I don't know.
Yeah, the charges.
She had no sense to try to hide the man after she killed him, buried him under some concrete.
But the way what she did in the backyard, that still was crazy. She would have been better off to just send him out to sea.
And you know what? What made it even more bizarre, it was in his backyard, his house. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Right, it'd be better.
She living up in the man's house and killed him and got him in the backyard. Oh my God. Anyway, back along another line of bizarreness, but not quite that bizarre. But okay, back to Kevin Clash, the guy who is the puppeteer for Elmo. I'm like, oh my God, Elmo. Okay, I'm having a moment because it's Elmo, Motor Mouth. It's Elmo.
Yeah.
Oh,
but I guess I look at it, he done caused, a lot of people, the network, the channel, and
Yeah.
all that, enough problems and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, he has.
And I don't understand why they did not release him when it first came up.
Because right
You
now
know,
there's a fourth
regardless if they
accuser.
not they regardless if they found him guilty or not of the
Right.
charges, but they should have just went ahead and put him on a leave of absence.
I think so.
From the beginning.
I
That's
think so. And at least until the investigation was thoroughly looked into and it was
Yeah.
concluded one way or the
Mhm.
other, that's what I would have done to protect my brand, if nothing else. Because
Yeah.
technically, Elmo is a brand, okay?
Exactly.
And he's a brand that was formed, on the Sesame Street. And they're
Mhm.
dealing with kids. You
Well,
can't.
even if it's not Sesame Street, but like you said, just dealing with kids, you just don't do anything like that and leave it out in the public when you got controversy coming up, being
Yeah.
arrived on it. I don't care, who it was, Nickelodeon or anybody, they should have snatched that person off, even
The
if
Children's Television Workshop, I think,
yeah.
is the technical owner
Mhm.
of Sesame Street. But I don't know what's going on with Kevin Clash. He's a 52-year-old man. He's a grown man. And this is the fourth time someone's come out. As of yesterday, it was a fourth accuser that came out and said that he was abused by
And how
him.
long ago was this occurred with this person?
I don't know because
Because all of them seem like they was back quite some time ago, like when he was in his 20s.
yeah,
You
because the
know.
other accusers are at the moment, one is 24, the other one was 29, and they were saying that it happened when they were like teenagers. And what's interesting about this so far, the attorney that's representing all of the accusers are
Mhm.
saying that this fourth person that popped up yesterday, his story is almost identical. It lines up perfectly almost with the same procedure and the same things that he did to allegedly attract the other accusers. So it's
Mhm.
gonna be interesting to see what happens. But boy, oh boy, I mean, I don't know what I would do with the Elmo brand, but I'm with you, Motomuff. I think I would have just given him a leave of absence one way or the other when the first one came out until it was all looked into and concluded one way or the other.
Well,
But
I would just have Elmore going see now, and
Elmo go and see now.
yeah,
Elmo technically is like a toddler. He can't
I
be
know,
going
but
see now.
he goes see now, and had a wild rampage, and we had to get rid of that character and figure out how we're gonna do damage control.
Yeah, because right now they definitely need some PR. I don't know how they're gonna dig out of this one. That's all I can say.
Because Big Bird was dead, and Big Bird haven't been happening so much, for Sesame Street until Elmore was the one.
Elmo, because
they
remember
brought
it
it back
came out
up.
with Tickle Me Elmo and all the
Yeah.
all the toys. Everybody was just
Uh-huh.
clamoring to get every Christmas.
But they remade Elmore, once before. They can do it again.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess it's possible to bring
Right.
anything back, but I
Uh-huh.
don't know. That's
But
a
he
toughie.
just needed to go on a vacation for a minute.
That's a toughie. That's a toughie. That's a toughie. I don't know, Motormouth.
Yeah, see, it would have been better just nip it in the bud. Then anything else underlying it would come up to the.
I think so, because that
Yeah.
way they would have just immediately detached Kevin Clash from Elmo, and then it would have been easier to just get another puppeteer. Even though the voice would have been a little different, would have been
Yeah.
easier to kind of make the easier adjustment, for lack of a better word. But anyway, pop news has been really interesting between the lottery and all this other stuff going on. Oh, and something else, and I'm just going to skip over this briefly. The drama, because that's what it was, with Bobby Christina. That's Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown's daughter.
Are you talking about the auto crash?
Oh, man. This is like the third or who can keep track? Like, what's up with this girl? Did she get a license? What? Did she buy a license from Kmart, as they used to say?
No, I can't even say that about that child.
What is the problem?
Nah, because at her age, I know a lot of other
Mm-hmm.
teens or young adults at her age that have even more accident than she have. In fact, I got one in my family. So, and she's a good
Look.
child and everything else. She came out of Spelman, top honor of everything. But she don't have about 5 or 6 automobile accidents.
Hello?
And they have been serious accidents. One with a bus where, we be talking about teasing her. You lucky you're alive.
Well, from my point of view,
And they all have been totaled.
You know,
ain't been-
Motormouth. Me, I got 2 sons. Let's not even get into
Yeah.
the car and the driving, because my
Yeah.
nerves are still bad. When my son started driving, I'm like, Lord, help me get through this. I didn't think I was
Yeah.
gonna make it. I was ready to sign him up for this little Sears driving schools or something. I'm like, I can't take this no more.
Yeah.
just a bit much. But the thing about it was, even with that, I didn't go through as many accidents as Bobby Christina. I still think something else is going on. Just kind of strange.
My brother
And did you
had
see
with
the
his
picture
daughter.
of the car? We not
Yeah.
talking about a little fender bend. I went, oh
No.
my God. We talking about totals.
Right. That's what I said. My niece has about 5 or 6, and every last
Totals?
one of them, the car's been totaled.
You know what? I would, if she were my child, I have to, you know what? Marta is your friend. She would be on the bus. Whitney Houston's and Bobby Brown's daughter are not. Enough is enough. Or maybe get her a driver or something.
She
I
had
don't know.
four of them before she even entered into college.
It's
okay?
crazy. It's just
And
it's too
then-
much.
And then they told me that you better not let her drive one of your cars. You know, they
I don't know.
actually did that. And then after she graduated from college, they gave her another car,
Oh my goodness.
and she totaled that one.
See, they need to get a child like that. You need to get a young adult because she's no longer a child. You need to get her a little chug-a-lug. That's what they call a chug-a-lug or a hoopty. Because if you know if they're accident prone, they're going to tear it up. Don't get them a nice car.
Well,
Let
they
them
just
earn
need to
it.
make sure each time they get her a car is something that is safe and well built.
Yeah.
You know, that's the main thing. You know,
Right.
she need to have casing.
Right. Kind of like when I gave one of my children my Volvo. I had this
Yeah.
Sherman tank. My neighbors used to say, like, Katie, you got a Sherman tank. I'm like, well, you know what? That was a strong Volvo, and that's exactly what I gave to one of my children. And
Yep.
in the end, it came in handy because, he got in a 5-car pileup. But it really did.
Yeah.
The airbag went off. I mean, it's the casing of the car. Like you said, it's the casing.
Mhm.
But when you go back and look at the wreck, with Bobby Christina, to get back on point a little bit, it's amazing. She walked out of there when I saw that wreck. I'm like, unbelievable.
Well, to me, when I looked at it, it was mainly on the passenger side that I saw the most damage.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
bad, though.
so the driver's side didn't take that, deep of an impact as the passenger side.
I could even tell what kind of car it used to be. It looks like it was a nice vehicle, but I don't know what it was.
I'm not for sure myself.
It was just beat up, but
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, maybe she'll get her life straight. Who knows? Because she's going in an interesting direction. But in a nice summary, she and what is this fellow's name? Nick Gordon, who is kind of like her brother. All I know is this fellow was adopted, I don't know whether legally or not, by Whitney Houston before she passed. And they were kind of raised as brother and sister. And that's why, the Houston family was upset because they were engaged and, a couple.
Yeah.
But after the wreck, all I know is he came out and said that they're no longer a couple.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure her grandmother's probably happy.
Yeah.
But a lot back to the other aspect of the real world. We'll see what's gonna happen with Bobby Christina. It's interesting. It's in Metro Atlanta. It's always something going on here.
Yep. This is the land of what you call it?
Intrigue.
Reality television.
Yeah, you have the
Yeah.
Real Housewives of Atlanta, and there's a lot of celebrities here. You have Tony Braxton.
So
I don't know
you
whether.
always got something going on with the celebrities here.
Yeah, I don't know whether Tony
Yeah.
Braxton's actually moved from Atlanta or not, but there's a lot of celebrities here, a lot more than people realize, and there's always something going on.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, how about we take a quick station break, Motormouth, and then we'll come back and get a little deep with a little bit more serious topic.
Okay, we'll be back after these messages.
You're listening to the best gospel station in Thomasville, North Carolina, 103.1 FM, WEOM.
Enjoy your day. You're listening to Kaye Dee and Motormouth on 103.1 FM, WEOM, Thomasville, North Carolina.
Live and in full effect. This is Black Leaf online. And whenever I listen to the radio, I listen to WEOM 103.1 FM with Kaye Dee and Motormouth. Peace.
Welcome back. This is Kaye Dee.
And this is Motormouth.
Kaye Dee and Motormouth Radio Show doing our thing this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Motormouth, did you know that today is World AIDS Day?
Yes.
I just thought about that.
I've been hearing that on the news.
Yeah. I mean, do you realize that the battle against AIDS has technically been going on for over 30 years now?
Yes, ma'am.
That's a long time. It's interesting they don't technically have a cure. I mean, over 30 years, that's a long time.
Yeah, because it picked up in the 80s, when they really started focusing on it. And I can remember people passing away
Yeah.
and hitting, then, in a small group of people or sector. And now it can affect anyone.
Yeah. In reality, is there places you can go now and actually get AIDS tests? Some people would do it for free. I guess you probably go anywhere and get an AIDS test. Your doctor, your family. But if you don't have a doctor, you have alternatives right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just gonna throw this out really fast because it is World AIDS Day. Based on statistics, okay, in the black community, because it's not that it's a black thing, but it's definitely affected the black community in a higher percentage for some reason. And I'm thinking, really, Motormouth, by now we should know what to do to protect yourself. We should know by now. I mean, it's pretty common knowledge.
Well, I mean, it's common knowledge, and treatments are a lot better.
I mean, I don't have the answer.
Than what than in the past.
Right.
A lot of treatment, but it's just funny to me that the number on the incline.
Yeah, higher than they should
upward.
be.
Yeah, going
right.
upward.
Right.
And it just don't make sense.
Yes, I'm like,
if
something's
you say
not...
you got better treatments out there, this, that, and that, but people are living longer with AIDS than in the past.
But I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about just prevention in general because, I'm just going by something that I remember reading this week. It was a stat that came out that they were talking about on the news. They were saying that right now the fastest growing population as far as AIDS is concerned is in young people, youth. I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
I remember a while back when we had Dr. Imani on our show, we were talking about AIDS. Remember through the CDC when they came out with this thing saying that the fastest growing segment was in the black community with women, 40 or 50-ish?
Right.
And now they're saying it is teenagers. I'm like, teenagers? Yeah.
Well, when you look at their culture and look how raunchy, if you want to use the word or term, that it is and presented, and how they are how they are attacked.
How they market it too?
Yeah, how they market. The market is being presented to them. You can see the idea where they having risky behavior.
Yeah, I know
just trying to follow out what they, what they're looking at.
Well, yeah, I guess you're right. Because really, when I think about teenagers they live in denial. I think they never think that they're going to be the ones that's, like we talked about auto accidents. They never think it's going to be them that's going to wreck a vehicle. They never think that it's one of them that's going to get pregnant. So, yeah, I could see them thinking, it's not going to be me. It's always going to be someone else.
Oh, that's right. Exactly.
Because when you're a teenager, you think you're going to live forever. Nothing's going to happen to you. I can get that. But maybe I'm just thinking from an outreach point of view, we're not doing something right to be able to reach the target market that we need to reach, But anyway, statistically, it's interesting because they're saying in the black community alone, 1 in 16 men and 1 in 32 women would be diagnosed with AIDS in their lifetime. And that's really just too darn much. 1 out of every 16 men and 1 out of every 32 women. That's not good. But anyway, if you want more information, even like where you can go and get tested for free today, there's a website I'm just going to throw out. It's www.aids, AIDSV as in village, U as in university.org. It's AIDSSVU.org. Because it is World AIDS Day.
Yes, it is. It should be a month, a year.
Yeah, it should be. And I'm thinking, you don't even really hear that much about AIDS like you used to. Remember, like in the 80s and the 90s, they were making songs and coming out talking about AIDS. It's like it kind of, I don't want to say it's died down, but it really has. You don't even hear people coming out speaking the cause like you used to about AIDS. Remember people came out doing the AIDS quilt and all that kind of stuff? It's kind of like a quiet thing now.
Right.
Maybe we need to tune it up a little bit.
But bring more awareness.
Yeah. But speaking of awareness, Motormouth, now I know you're probably aware of this thing that's back to Florida again. I don't know what it is about Florida, but I have an auntie and an uncle that moved from New York to Florida. I'm about ready to go down there and get them. Because Florida has too much going on that doesn't make sense to me. Okay. I am referencing the new situation that happened. And it's kind of tied to Atlanta because there was a teenager who's originally from Marietta, Georgia. And Marietta is, again, a suburb of Metro Atlanta. This guy's name is Jordan Davis. And what happened was he got shot. And people are comparing his case to the Trayvon Martin case. It's kind of similar, but it's really not. But people are kind of comparing it for some reason to the Trayvon Martin case.
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, his family, today, they're actually having a funeral for him. They've flown his body back to Atlanta from Jacksonville, Florida, which is where the shooting occurred. And, the community is kind of upset about it, which I can understand.
Yeah,
I
whole
can definitely
community,
understand. I'm like, this is crazy to me. There's no reason this child should be dead.
Right.
There's no reason that I could think of that he should be dead. Okay. What happened based on what I read and what I think I understand, it was around, the November the 23rd, which is around Thanksgiving.
It was on Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
Okay. In Jacksonville, Florida, the teenager's name is Jordan Davis. Okay. I'm going to summarize a little bit.
Well, it was the day after Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving was the 22nd.
The 22nd this year?
And this happened on the 23rd, yeah.
Okay. So it's the day after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They're at a gas station, just a gas station in Florida. Okay. And a guy by the name of Michael David Dunn, 45-year-old fellow from, I think he's originally from Florida.
Yeah, he's from Florida.
Okay, he's from Florida.
160 miles from where
the shooting occurred in Jacksonville?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So anyway, these guys, Michael Dunn is at the gas station like we all do with his girlfriend apparently. I don't know what they were there for. And from what I'm just going to summarize what I remember reading. They just left a wedding.
Left the wedding.
Yeah, the guy that did the shooting just left a wedding for a family member. He and his girlfriend at the convenience store, the gas station, whatever. His girlfriend goes inside the gas station. Mm-hmm. And I guess they pull up next to an SUV that has some teenagers in it.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
One of the teenagers was Jordan Davis, the 17-year-old. I think he was 17.
Mm-hmm. He was sitting in the back seat.
In the back seat of this SUV. He's a junior in high school.
Yeah, with three of his friends.
Three of his friends in an SUV. Like we've all seen teenagers at the gas station. That's nothing new.
Right.
Okay.
And they got that music crunk.
Yeah, we've all pulled up to some children, some teenagers with the music just a little too loud for our taste. Who hadn't done that before? Okay. What could happen out of that? Apparently, Michael Dunn was not too happy with the music. He said something to them. And maybe, words were probably exchanged. Long story short, Michael Dunn decided he's just going to pull out his gun and start shooting. Like, what? Now, how many times did they say this man shot this gun off Motormouth?
I think it was 8 or 9 times.
8 or 9. I don't want to say anything wrong. Yep.
Yeah.
This man fired 8 or 9 shots into the car. And apparently Davis, the teenager, was hit a couple of times, according to the police. Now, his girlfriend comes running outside and want to know what's going on. Well, who wouldn't come running outside and want to know what's going on?
Right.
You in the doggone gas station, you hear some gunshots, I'm going to run out, period.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's crazy to me is Michael Dunn and his girlfriend get in the car and they drive off.
Right.
So they go back and they spend the night at the hotel. I'm like, this whole thing is bizarre, Motormouth. They go back to the hotel room, spend the night there, and a day later, the police go to Michael Dunn's home in Satellite Beach, Florida. And you're right, Motormouth, about 160 miles away. And they found the man's home not because he called and turned himself in. The police tracked him based on his license plate. I'm thinking, now, how crazy is this whole story, Motormouth? I don't understand this because, okay, Michael Dunn's attorney, based on what I think is going to happen, is going to try to use the Florida Stand Your Ground law for this. And that's another reason why people are trying to compare this case to the Trayvon Martin case.
Exactly.
But there's a couple of things, the way that I'm looking at it, that are different from the Trayvon Martin case. First of all, this happened around, an audience of people at that gas station. Mm-hmm. Okay? There was no, physical confrontation between
None
the two
whatsoever.
people. Okay. The gun in this case was that's something else that's debatable. Michael Dunn is trying to say that he saw a gun in the SUV.
But Michael Dunn don't never say he got out of his car anywhere.
And the whole thing is crazy to me.
Because if he got out of his car and then he starts shooting into a vehicle, then there was no way whatsoever about anything, especially when everybody's saying there was no confrontation.
Yeah.
So I find that very, very
strange.
odd. I find his, story, weak in many, many areas.
I do too.
Okay. Now, also, he claimed that he saw a gun.
He said he saw a gun
rifle
in the SUV, is what he claimed.
The police have not come up with no gun. Nobody reported that the kids had a gun or a rifle or anything. So it just seems so funny.
It's odd.
Right. And then if even if it was on the floor or whatsoever, nobody had it in their hands.
And you know what else?
But he had a gun in his hand. He walked up to them
in his car.
Right. If he got out of his car,
but did they even say that he got out of his car?
No, but I'm just trying to say
it's just so bizarre.
Yeah.
I'm like the whole thing is weird to me.
Yeah,
it's strange. And you know what else I'm thinking about, motor mouth, off the top of my head? Okay, the last time I checked, it wasn't illegal to own a gun in the United States, right?
Right.
So I'm just throwing something, to the wind. So say, what if they did have a gun in the car, in the SUV? It's not illegal for them to have a gun, but that's still, the last time I checked, you can't just shoot somebody just because they have a gun and you see it.
Well, this is a thing I look at.
The whole thing is weird to me.
It's weird to me because, again, the man left the scene and everything.
Yep.
Even after he left the scene and the police arrested him, they should have done some type of drug test, alcohol test on that man.
I think,
after they
found
said
that
they have
looked
not,
into it.
They don't know if it is or not. They only saying, from what I've gathered, I figured they was only saying that because he was at a wedding reception or a wedding or something.
Yeah.
But they did not actually say anything about his blood contents.
Right.
Yeah. So, again, it seemed like mishandling on the arrest or something going on already and everything. And then again, there's no other evidence being leaked out about anything that these kids was doing.
Right.
And
according to what, this police report, I got this from the Orlando newspaper. From a Florida newspaper. The police are saying that they did not find the gun in the SUV with the young men.
Right.
And Ron Davis, that's the Jordan Davis's father. He was saying that he doesn't believe that Davis's claim is valid that he saw a gun.
Right,
and he thinks that,
Dunn's
claim that he saw a gun. He thinks that Dunn is searching for an explanation. He said they were just, the father's saying that they were just 17-year-old kids that were having a good time coming back from the mall. So apparently now you can't even come back from the mall. Let's see, now you can't come back from the convenience store buying whatever you're going to buy. And now we can't come back from the mall.
Especially if you're of color.
And now whatever you do, you can't have the music too loud. Well, I'm thinking if all this would give you the right to shoot somebody, half the teenagers in Metro Atlanta, they be gone.
Nah,
they be dead.
I actually think Dunn might have been drunk.
You think so?
Yeah, something has to be possessing that man for not
just
using
bizarre.
common logic. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is strange. I can just kind of visualize in my mind. You pull up in a gas station, whoever's in the car runs in there, somebody next to you, music gets too loud, and you just pull out a gun and just shoot it. Even if you just pull out a gun and shoot into the car, did it not occur to him that if you shoot into the car, the SUV, that it's a possibility you're going to actually shoot somebody? He might have been on something, motor mouth. I don't know.
Because
the whole
his
thing
son
doesn't
that
make
just
sense
got married, they was partying.
But see, everybody doesn't drink, so I don't just assume that
I'm
everybody
just gonna
doesn't
assume
drink.
that something was in that man for shooting those kids.
It's crazy to me.
Right. I'm just going to say that. That's my opinion.
But you know what, motor mouth? Even if he was on something, he was
very racist.
He had sense enough to pull off. Okay, yeah, he was sober enough.
Both
if he
of them had sense enough to get in the car,
and the girlfriend had sense enough to get back in the car and pull off and go back to the hotel. Okay,
and spend the night. Something ain't right there.
A lot is not right with this story. A lot. But they were describing this fellow Dunn as a this is the police describing him. They're saying that he's a gun collector.
Yeah.
And he shot at local gun ranges.
Right.
So that's just strange to me. But it's going to be interesting to see if the Florida Stand Your Ground law is going to be part of their defense. They're also saying they don't know if Dunn had a concealed weapons permit.
Exactly.
But he did have a gun for a long period of time. Okay, so he's a guy that's into guns. But the whole thing is just strange to me. And you're right, Motor Mouth. The police are looking into whether alcohol is a factor, but they don't know.
And that should have been the first thing that they
did.
Right. Well, they arrested him while he was still alive in his blood system.
So I'm wondering if they even took him back and did it. Well, they could have taken him back because he left the scene of the crime and went back to the doggone
Right. I'm talking about when they
room.
picked him up from his house.
But even if they picked him up from his house, that was like, what?
Oh, they got
at least 24 hours after the fact.
Yeah, but that still would have been in his system. They got tests to find out how long it been in their system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, from the residue or, whatever.
That's just strange to me. Yeah. But it goes back, there's a lot of people, including Jordan Davis's fathers, and the Trayvon Martin's family, they are trying to get the stand your ground law overturned.
Right.
And I'm thinking it needs to be, because there's just too many people that are using this law that I don't think applies to, randomly shooting people's children.
Right.
Crazy.
That's what I feel.
And again, Motor, refresh my memory. Doesn't the stand your ground law mean and apply to if you're on your property and if you feel threatened? But to me, feeling threatened doesn't mean that I can just get in my car, walk down the street, somebody looks at me the wrong way,
Exactly.
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe they need to go back and specifically break down what being threatened means.
Right. Well, I don't see anybody being threatened when they the instigator of a matter. When you instigate something, then you can expect something to happen back, one way or another.
Well, I'm just looking at a part of the Florida statute of the justifiable use of force, just to try to figure out what in the world. Okay, this is 776.012, use of force in defense of person. Now, based on how they're trying to classify it, they're saying a person is justified in using force, except deadly force, against another when and to the extent that the person reasonably believes that such conduct is necessary to defend himself or herself or another against the other's imminent use of unlawful force. Unlawful force. I'm looking at this Motor Mouth. However, a person is justified in the use of deadly force and does not have a duty to retreat if, number one, he or she reasonably believes that such force is necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm to himself or herself or another, or to prevent the imminent commission of a forcible felony, or number two, under those circumstances permitted pursuant to and it's another section 7760113. We're not going to break that down because that goes into force, preventing your home protection.
Right.
And see, the thing that's interesting to me, the home protection, I totally get it. Because based on what I think I understand, if you're in your home and someone is trying to enter your home or someone is on your property and they're trying to harm you, rob you, of course, deadly force. Yeah, I can totally see the stand your ground law in that case. That makes sense to me. But I think the problem is when you're just walking down the street and you feel threatened. What do you think, Motor Mouth? I think they're trying to make this apply when it really shouldn't apply.
I think that if it wasn't alcohol, it was some kind of drug involved.
You just try to analyze the man.
The laws, I don't even come to the point of stand your ground on any of this, so I'm not even going to entertain it and try to figure it out. I just don't see where it will apply anywhere.
Well, they sure are hinting they're going to try that. They're going to try it.
But that's what he's trying, and that's what he's telling his attorney, and it won't surprise me if he don't lose his attorney too. I think, once she wake up and realize that she could tarnish her own career in handling such a case.
Yeah, what ground was he standing on in the doggone car at the gas station?
Right.
Anyway? I'm just saying. What ground? What is he standing on?
He's standing on his recall of his thoughts. And, it just don't make sense. First, they even need to charge him for leaving a crime,
the scene of the crime. Yeah, they had to track him down. Because I'm thinking, okay, because if we let this slide under a stand your ground classification, okay, what if I pull up next to your vehicle and your SUV and I don't like the music that you're playing?
Right.
Okay. If I don't like the type of music that you're playing,
but see,
they give me right to shoot you?
But the whole thing, to me, to just eliminate stand your ground, he left the scene.
And he left the scene of the crime.
Right. So it wasn't about him defending anything.
Right.
I wouldn't even entertain it,
It's kind of bizarre.
Right. They just need to go ahead and get down to the matter.
And
file the charges against the guy and get it on, still letting it even hang out like they allowed the Trayvon Martin case go.
But what's different along the same lines, Motor Mouth, in this particular case? Like with the Trayvon Martin case, it took them, like a month to arrest Zimmerman? If I remember right? About a month.
Well, see, Zimmerman didn't leave the scene of the crime.
No, he didn't. But it still took them they took their sweet time arresting that man.
Yeah,
they even to get to the point they even questioned him on a serious level.
And then, with him, Zimmerman, you got, play the idea of his father, a couple other things. Yeah,
his father.
Right,
yeah.
But this man here don't have the goody. background friends and associates.
This thing is so bizarre. I keep thinking about it. But rather is this child is dead, and they are burying him today. They've flown his body back to Atlanta at Hartsfield International Airport this morning. And it was kind of touching because there were some firemen that met the plane.
Right.
And they gave him I won't say, what kind of salute would you call it, Motormouth?
A water salute.
A water salute of respect.
Right.
And, we're sorry that it happened kind of thing, for lack of a better word, because they know it was wrong. It was wrong. This child is dead. Man, this is just funny. What is the world coming to, Motormouth?
I had, back when I first got to Atlanta, I had a real good friend named Ron Davis. And I was looking for a picture, or see if they show a picture of his father.
Ron Davis?
Yes. And
you wonder if it's the same Ron
Davis? And if that's his child.
You know what? Wouldn't it be interesting if this was one of the children who had gone to one of your educational programs? Is that what you're wondering?
Oh, no. This was a personal friend.
Oh, okay.
Ron Davis, that I met here, like how you come into a new area.
And you just network and meet people.
Meeting people. He was a fellow musician.
Yeah.
In fact, he was the first musician that I actually started working with and putting music together when we were redoing educational material. He played the flute. Well, so far, they're not really saying too much about Jordan Davis's family. Right.
They said, well, they're trying to bury their child right now. But he did say that he's going to be on a mission to see what it can get done about that stand your ground law. And he said he promised he's going to fight the laws that allow people to carry guns outside of their homes.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key. To me, stand your ground really does kind of apply to your personal property, a home, a house.
Well, I can see it like that, and then somebody, pulling a gun on you. Then if you have a gun or something that you do to try to protect yourself, I can see that and everything. But I think, this just sounds like this was a very decent young man. He already started his first job at McDonald's.
At McDonald's,
right, and was looking,
looking forward to buying his first car and looking forward to turning 18. He never even got to be 18 years old. Man.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
And we're just looking for, starting his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is deep. But, along the same line, you mentioned Trayvon Martin case. It's interesting what's going on with George Zimmerman right now, too, Motormouth.
Well, let's take a break, and we'll come back with that.
Okay, we'll be back in a moment.
Enjoy your day. You're listening to Kaye Dee and Motormouth on 103.1 FM, WEOM, Thomasville, North Carolina.
Live and in full effect, this is Black Leaf Online with Kaye Dee and Motormouth. Peace.
Hi, this is Kaye Dee.
And this is Motormouth.
We're back.
Yeah, we're back at you. We've been talking about so much about the crime and the crazy stuff that keep coming out of Florida.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with Florida, the Sunshine State.
I don't know if it's not the election counting ballots.
I'm scared to go back down.
Yeah.
Somebody might not like my music. It might be a little too loud for the people in Florida. I don't have my music loud. It may be loud according to who I pull up next to, though.
Yeah.
Shucks. I don't want to be shot while I'm trying to listen to my tunes. But anyway, regarding George Zimmerman, when we left off talking about Zimmerman, there's not a whole lot to update that's going on. But I did notice that he's trying to kick up his legal defense fund again. I think he's kind of going through the money. It was rolling in on a regular for a while there, Motormouth. Rolling in pretty strong and deep.
Well, the lawyer probably took all of that.
Probably. Probably. But he's gotten to the point when, everybody deserves a defense. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's entitled to one. But it's interesting, based on what they're saying now, he's trying to sell his autograph.
Oh.
That's what they say. Say he's going to sell his autograph. I don't know what he's going to attach it to, but I guess you have to buy something. And in return, he'll give you an autograph, card or something with his name, autograph on it.
Right.
It's interesting.
Trying to become a celebrity.
I guess. I suppose.
Only in America.
It's interesting. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
But beyond that, there's not too much news going on with George Zimmerman other than he's low on money, needs more funds, and he's willing to sell an autograph to get his defense lined up. That's it. And speaking of another bizarre case that we talked about a while back, what's going on with the O.J. Simpson case, Motormouth? You mentioned it was something new going on with O.J.
Oh, yeah. There was this
what?
guy came out saying his brother was really the serial killer.
What?
And that he's the one who actually killed Brown and what was that?
Nicole, what's the
Brown.
one? Nicole Brown and I forgot the man's name. It's been so long. You know, it's been a minute since the OJ case went down.
Goldman.
Goldman, yeah. Goldman and Brown. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's saying that it's his brother.
Yeah, his
him?
brother is the one.
So he's trying to say that OJ is innocent.
Exactly.
Okay. Can he prove this?
Well, there have been some information that the Los Angeles Police Department had that could back it up.
So they're really going to look into this again?
Yeah, I guess they're going to look into it, or the idea that evidence that they had back then that could have surfaced.
Didn't come up, maybe?
Right. You know how they can do that stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
bring something back up again.
Yeah, because it could have been something that Mark Farmer, anybody could have had information on and kept it out. Yeah. Because you got to understand.
Even Robert Kardashian, who, believe it or not, is the Kardashian family. That's their father. Yeah. I'm not going to get into the Kardashians today, but that's their father.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny,
with some of the children.
Yeah, the only thing I would say about the whole thing on OJ and everything is that the glove that they said that was used in the murders, it just didn't fit. It never fitted.
Okay.
That's the only thing I could say, because everything else about it is so bizarre. Right.
Okay, but to back up a little bit, Motormouth, you got me thinking, since you mentioned bizarre. Wasn't OJ the one that came out with a book, was it a year or two ago?
Yeah, but I'm not even talking about a year or two ago.
Did he write this book?
But I'm just saying, if I did it,
the title.
If I did it,
how did he put it? I'm not saying that I did it, but if I did do it, I'm like, what?
I mean, but I'm going to look at it, no, I'm not even going to look at that. I'm just going to look back at the time it was present and the court hearings and everything that was going on. I think that, all evidence or anything that everything should have been put on the table. And there's ways, just like they cut deals and different type of stuff like that, which I think sometimes isn't fair. Yeah. In the court procedure, just to go at one person, but the other person who actually could have been involved and been the lead ringer of it, they get off. Right. And the innocent person go.
Look, I used to be naive. I am no longer naive. Call me stupid.
Anything can happen.
I never, I don't know, maybe once upon a time I didn't believe people got paid off in the court system. Duh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do. They do.
I mean, from the judge, from the lawyer, all down.
I was so stupid and naive once upon a time. I've grown up.
Even the prosecutors, all of that.
They do.
It just depends, on how it's going down and who got the money.
Yeah, it's about money, pretty much. It's about the money, honey. But, I'm not going back to the, when all the stuff was going on, everybody's talking about OJ, but I just thought about it because the only thing that's even come out about the OJ trial since the case was finalized was, OJ doing things himself. Just like the situation when he went, was it Vegas when all that stuff happened? And he got arrested because of that crazy.
But but if I had something,
even the book, he came out with the book. He wrote it.
I mean, but you don't know. I mean, psychologically, you don't know what that man went through, especially if he didn't do it. I mean, it's no more different than.
That's true. People, I don't know.
Automatically they change mentally and everything about, because I was reading some things about some people who was in prison for rape, murder, and different things that they did not do. Then later on through DNA testing and the improvement of criminal, what you call it,
forensic evidence and all that kind of stuff,
and everything, that they came out and they found out that they weren't the people who they accused of doing it. And they've been locked up for 20, 30, 10 years and everything. That's and true. Just mentally how they had changed. Yeah. Being accused of doing something that they know that they didn't do. And I mean, to have that on your mind 24/7, every second of the day, it can eat you alive.
True. But you know what was bizarre to me about the book, I'm not going to get that deep about OJ's book, is the fact that he still has 2 children with this lady, with his now deceased wife, Nicole. Yeah. Okay. Why would you have written the book with some of the stuff that was implied to be in it when your children? It's crazy, man. I'm not even gonna analyze it. The whole thing was bizarre. It might have been
like that. Maybe he needed some money.
Let me guess. Maybe he was drinking too when he wrote the book.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's just crazy to me. I'm not saying that I did it, but if I did do it, what? You need to get somewhere and sit down.
I said, the man might need some money.
Maybe he needs some psychological help, or maybe he was drinking. I don't know. Yeah, we all need some money, but shucks, all money's not good money. That's just my opinion.
I want to change the subject for a minute.
Please do.
And it's something that really caught my eye.
What's that, Mother?
It's about the food market.
Oh, man.
Okay. Now
I'm gonna need some therapy if they keep messing with the food they do.
This is what got me. Okay. They was talking about fruit, vegetables, seeds, and beans is all the essential part of a well-balanced and healthy diet.
I thought you were going to talk about what happened with the pork industry.
No, we can get to that later.
I'm like, what? I don't eat that much pork. But
we are told that these are some of the main basic foods that we can eat that are healthy.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Right. But now, it was funny, I was doing some research. I found that mushrooms isn't healthy for you.
Yeah, if you get the wrong ones, I can see that.
I mean, but right, about the poison, but also on the ones that's being sold in the store.
Oh, the
which
ones
that you think that are healthy.
The ones that's in the cute little blue box with the plastic on the top of them?
Those could be a serious problem.
Huh,
okay. Elderberry could be very bad for you.
What is elderberry, Motor?
That's a fruit that
I've never purchased
come off of, they got elderberry juice and different types of like that.
Okay. I've seen that in the juice, yeah.
If it's not picked right in certain concerns, it could cause a very serious problem.
Okay.
Same as castor oil.
Castor oil?
Yes.
Like from back in the day, old school castor oil?
Exactly.
Well, I should technically be dead.
Right. Okay.
I remember that back in the day growing up, listen to me like I'm 95. But shoot, people used to give that to their kid. Oh, that's the most god-awful stuff.
Taste, yeah.
That should be illegal to give that to a child. You're not even sick and they used to give you that nasty mess.
This is something else.
What's wrong with castor oil? Don't skip that.
Yeah.
What's wrong with castor oil, Motor?
It could be the way
not that I want it anymore.
Of the bean.
Other than the taste.
Yes.
What's wrong with it?
Ricin is in the bean. The poison of the ricin is in the beans.
They sell it?
And if they don't process it right,
oh Lord,
I
should be dead.
And that people should not just try to take the bean and chew it or something. Hey,
who in the world would chew it? The liquid is god awful.
Oh
God,
yes,
I had a flashback. Sorry, her stuff awful.
Now the other one I want to go to is almonds.
Almonds?
Almonds.
What's wrong with almonds?
Almonds,
they're supposed to be good for you.
Almonds could be very, very, very deadly.
Okay, Mona Mouth.
That's the reason why.
What's in this stuff?
Let
me see what you're looking
at. They begin to ban almonds, from being sold raw in the United States.
Like the stuff that's in the almond joy candy bars, those almonds.
Right.
We're talking about the same almonds.
You gotta be careful about the almonds, and especially when they are served raw. They are full of strychnine. Cyanide.
Oh.
And cyanide.
Cyanide. Yeah. Cyanide is a poison.
Yes. Now, I knew a bit of almond as far as in the essential oil.
Almond essential oil, yeah. Because we have personal experience with essential oils. We won't get into that today. But yeah, bitter almond essential oil, a lot of people won't sell that pure either.
Right. But it's just the idea of the almond seed, period. Because that's, chewing it raw will release.
Well, my question is, Mona, what are we doing as a country to make sure that pieces of cyanide, traces of cyanide,
cyanide, all
it's not in the food, even the mushrooms, everything. I mean, I don't understand. What are we supposed to do?
Check this, though. We're going to move on, then we talk about what we're supposed to do. Cherries.
What are we supposed to do, just take a chance?
I guess so.
Cherries?
Yes. It got
hydrogen cyanide is in cherries? What?
Yes, it's in the seeds.
Wait a minute now.
So we don't consume
this is crazy
the
to me.
seeds.
Well, I'm not gonna sit down and eat some cherry seeds anyway.
Well, some people suckle on the seeds after they get through eating the cherry.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
But check this: the American one a day. Keep the doctor away.
With the apples?
The apples.
Well, apples have been debatable for a while. Remember they had this thing out, Dr. Oz even did this segment about apple juice having, what was it? traces of, I can't think of the chemical that was in there.
But you
in
got
the apple juice.
cyanide in that thing.
Might have been cyanide. I know all the
Okay.
parents were having a fit because, they're giving the kids a little juicy juice with the apples. And even all the apple juice, they said had traces of it in there.
Yes. Now, let's move on. You got after the apple, you got rhubarb.
Nobody eating no rhubarb.
Well, I remember people eating rhubarb
stuff
in pies and different puddings and all that.
I worry about Kaye Dee eating no rhubarb.
Yeah. Because that was an old remedy.
That sound nasty.
As, for a laxative and a couple other health agents.
I know I don't want none of that.
Okay. But now, this is what everybody do. When you go and get a salad, other than the lettuce, what's the first thing you think should be on the salad? Tomatoes.
Of course.
Now look at what tomatoes.
What in the world is this? Lycopene. But lycopene is good for you, Motormouth. Okay. It has a poison. What is it? Glycoalkaloid? What the heck is that? It says it's in the leaves, though, Motormouth. Nobody's going to be eating the tomato leaves.
But also in tomatoes, which is not in the report I'm giving you, which is bad, is canned tomatoes.
Canned
tomatoes.
What are we supposed to eat then?
Okay, canned tomatoes.
What are we supposed to eat?
Got something about the lining of the can mixing with the tomato that's in there.
I'm through.
That do a transformation of
Is it something in the aluminum? I'm guessing.
And it's supposed to be something that men's need to stay away from.
In the can.
Because it increased prostate cancer by 34%.
You know what, Mama?
Then the last one though is on this thing is potatoes.
In the world.
Really, we don't eat the stem or the leaves of the potato.
What can be wrong about a potato?
But
come
also
on.
what's wrong and make the
poisonous stem and leaves. All right, come on, Motormouth.
But now also with the potato, it's besides the leaves and the stem, it's the pesticide and stuff that they treat the tomato with.
That could be the problem with a lot of these vegetables.
So that's the reason why a lot of this stuff we need to do organic.
True. And then according to this same article, they're saying that a lot of the poisoning that occurs with potatoes, which is something that rarely does occur, but most fatalities from eating a potato, most fatalities have been attributed to eating green potatoes. Who eats a green potato?
But sometimes they're in the store.
Nobody. No green. I'm not eating a green potato.
I see a lot of green potatoes in certain major stores.
No, sir.
Right.
Not green potato.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. But and let's not forget, the pork thing. That really got me.
Now.
That got me this week. I'm like, you know what? Not that I'm like sitting around looking for what's wrong with the food this week. I'm sitting there looking at just the evening news, and boom, there it is. I'm like, what's wrong with the pork again? Because I have relatives that won't touch pork anything within a 10-mile radius. Oh, no, they're not eating no pork. And, I can understand that. I really can. But I don't eat a lot of pork myself. I probably eat pork maybe, 3 times a year? An occasional craving for a pork chop.
Right.
Or an occasional craving for a pork barbecue versus beef barbecue.
But I had got to the point where I kind of really truly backed up off of pork.
Yeah, I don't eat pork that much anymore.
I don't eat ham no more. I don't eat barbecue.
Yeah.
even though it be smelling so
I
good.
break
sometimes.
down and eat a Johnsonville bratwurst every now and then off a grill. Oh, and even that's like again about 3 times a year. Somebody's grilling a bratwurst. Right, that's about it. I just don't.
So I've been backing off, pork for a long time. Then there was a good period of time when I didn't eat it at all.
And ham, I don't recall the last time I had ham. It's been, oh my God, some years since I had ham. I don't eat pork that much. But I bet our listeners in North Carolina say, forget y'all, we eating our pork.
Yeah.
I'm not telling anybody what to eat or what not to eat, but my goodness, the thing on ABC News, I think it was ABC, was it Nightline? It kind of freaked me out just a tad. Not freaked me out, but it just kind of made me look at pork very, very differently. Yeah, even bacon. Because they were
parasites and everything.
But it wasn't even the parasite thing. Okay, they said that there's this new bacteria. I'm trying to think of the name of something or something or other. I don't know, Motormouth. Can't remember the long term that they attached to it, the name that they gave to it. But the problem was they said that they did a random sampling, according to them. And they just randomly went to all different kinds of grocery stores, within the United States, from the West Coast to the East Coast, North, South, just random sampling. And they just pulled, pork chop, pork in general, and ground pork from all these grocery stores. Okay. The problem was that they concluded that when looking under microscopes and all that, about 70% of all the pork, regardless of the store or the source that you buy it from, has this bacteria in it. And they don't have any cure for this bacteria. This stuff is supposedly making people sick, creating people other illnesses, and then they don't have anything that they can use to fight against the illness if you get it. And what was kind of creepy about it, they did this, what do you call the thing, Mona? Like a black light? When they put this light on the pork, I'm like, oh man, they just messing with me. And then everything in the pork was growing green. It was the grossest thing I ever seen in my life. I'm like, oh my God, are we eating this stuff? And why, if they know it's in there, why can't they do something about it? And then they were kind of implying that it goes back to what they're feeding the pigs. Okay, I'm like, what are they feeding these animals? This is creating this problem. All I want is about a Johnsonville bratwurst once a year. That's all I want. I don't ask for much. And what was crazy,
learn to do a beef sausage.
What was crazy, they said that this same bacteria, it was a higher percentage of it in ground pork. Now, I've never purchased well, I guess Johnsonville bratwurst sausage is ground pork.
Because it's wrapped up in the skin.
But they were saying that the higher concentration was in the ground pork that was worse. I'm like, you know what? I'm at the point, more than my, I'm going to see who I can get to hook up with in North Carolina. I'm sure Reverend Earl over there knows somebody in North Carolina got a garden. Some organic stuff, something, and see if we can get the hook up to get them to ship it over to Metro Atlanta.
You want some organic sausage now?
I need organic veggies. I need organic everything. I don't even care about the sausage that much, but we need organic food, period.
Yeah, but we got quite a few food places here.
Yeah, we do.
That offer organic.
We do.
Yeah.
Whole Foods,
Right.
Seven Nanda.
You got your farmer market.
Farmers Market, the Calf Farmers Market. We have Harry and David's. We have a lot of places that say they have organic foods. We do. Let me be realistic.
Yeah, I was just talking to one of my friends, associate, and they was talking to me about starting an organic co-op.
Not a bad idea.
So that people, they was telling me, why don't y'all put on the network
organic co-op,
right? Organic co-op, so that people will know where to
where they can actually get some
right,
from,
and that they can actually order through you to attain certain vegetables.
Well, Seven Nanda health food store is a co-op, and I think Harry and David's.
Right,
and Whole Foods started out as a co-op. I don't think they're a co-op any longer.
But they was talking about, since we're doing the radio show, we need to do our own.
Oh, okay.
Right, and he said you don't even have to promote the others, just do your own and set up your own thing. So that's kind of what's set me up
that's
on
the idea.
Doing the directory that we're going to come out with, where everybody can, get into the directory and find out, what's healthy for the children and the families and all. And those merchants out there, or you're in business to service families and children, we're offering a 30-day free trial where they could post and, get themselves posted in the directory. Now, there is a $9.95, setup fee, for one-time fee for setting up, your directory listing. But those that find it beneficial, they can just keep that directory listing going on and on, throughout the year. But it allows people to understand what's going on in their community, and and bringing together, the co-op, and then we're also going to reach out to small farmers and different people who actually raising crops and organic livestock.
Quality food, something you can eat without freaking out and worrying about it.
Since we're always talking about it every now and then.
Not that we want to keep talking about food, but oh my goodness, how can you not?
And help people have an option.
Yeah.
But if anybody like to be a sponsor, they need to go ahead and contact us. And, Kaye Dee, why don't you go ahead and give them the email information, the contact information?
Yeah, because the reality is, I was just summarizing, if you're interested in sponsoring the show, we love to hear from you. We welcome those that are interested and love to hear from you. But anyway, if you guys want to contact me, I can be located at I prefer Twitter. I'm on Twitter, okay? I'm at KD_radio. It's K is in kind, D is in David, _radio, RADIO. And it's on Twitter. And Motormouth, what about you? What's your preference?
They can reach me at Motormouth at RadioDNANetwork.com.
Okay.
Or they can also reach us at KDRadio.com. radiodna.com. That's kdradio.radiodnanetwork.com.
Right. And if you didn't have time to grab your pen and paper on that one, you can also reach me personally at kdradiofm@gmail.com. It's just K, the letter K, D is in David, the letter D, radio, RADIO, F as in FM. So it's kdradiofm@gmail.com.
Okay. And the last one I'm going to give is just simple as this. You can go info@radiodnanetwork.com or just go to radiodnanetwork.com and just click on contact us, and we'll be with you.
Yep.
And then also you can go through the archives and listen to the show.
Right, because we're on YouTube and Twitter and a few other places and Facebook. We'd love to hear from you guys regarding the show, whether you want to sponsor the show, just anything in general topic that we talked about. Look forward to hearing from you. And Motorball, how about we just sign off for the week? We're glad you guys have been with us this long. Hanging in.
And we'll be with you next week.
Yep, hang in there. Peace and grace.
You're tuned to Thomasville, North Carolina's best gospel, WEOM 103.1 FM.